seats and a name? Those today struggling to identify the difference between a sports utility vehicle SUV, a crossover and a multi-purpose vehicle MPV, you're not alone. Indeed, with sales of the first two niches currently burgeoning, you'd forgive the fourth-generation Renault Scenic, a car that pretty much invented the compact MPV segment some 20 years ago, for suffering something of an identity crisis en route to the launch pad. Especially since it's equally hard to pigeonhole the new Scenic's rivals, such as Citroën C4 Picasso, the Ford Kamax, the Peugeot 3008 and, perchance, Renault's own Kadjar, and even posher toddies such as Volkswagen's Golf SV and the Mercedes-Benz B-Class. Larger cabin, sharper styling surely, though, for any multi-purpose vehicle to genuinely merit the moniker, the cabin space, replete with legion seats that flop about with all the alacrity of a freshly landed flounder, must, above all, be truly flexible. A distinct whiff of SUV has certainly crept into the new Scenic's design. It is 20 mm wider and 40 mm longer than its predecessor, with a 32 mm longer wheelbase. Though lower in the roofline, it also sports a 40 mm increase in ground clearance. The exterior is hallmarked by Renault's increasingly badge-centric frontal graphic, a straightforward SUV rump, and a pleasing profile with a steeply raked windscreen flowing seamlessly into a blacked-out roofline, more usually associated with crossover styling. All Renault Scenics get 20-inch alloys seen from any angle, save for dead ahead or full astern. The Scenic pulls off the neat trick of simultaneously looking both sharp-suited and somewhat voluptuous. 20-inch wheels fitted, as standard, across the entire model range further bolster the appeal of the silhouette, if not ride quality. On board, the business end of the cabin takes a giant stride forward. Gone are the smirking applique panels that once identified Renault instrument panels the brand over, replaced by a new dashboard console styled on Kermit the Frog's mouth announcing a guest star, set in a sea of somewhat dark but well-made and soft touch materials. The console houses a 7 or 8.7-inch touchscreen for control of Renault's Relink 2 infotainment system. Despite the fact that the cabin occupies an entirely MPV-like 80% of the body shell volume, the rear seating is not as flexible as that found in the outgoing model. No longer removable with the aid of a hernia truss, the sliding seats are now split just 60 hours 40 minutes instead of into 3. Shame that, being able to slide the center seat out of line was the best way of easing shoulder rub with 3 adults abreast. Offering merely adequate legroom, the seats may be lowered at the touch of a load space wall-mounted button, or via one of the multimedia system's endless menus, to give a flat floor. Load space, however, is bigger than before and, at 572 liters, claimed to be class-leading. Generous range of engines including manual hybrids. 6 engines will be available from day one, 2 turbocharged petrol, 3 turbodiesels and, built around the least powerful diesel, a hybrid assist engine. This latter is interesting not only for offering an 810% reduction in fuel consumption and CO2 emissions over the standard diesel, but also because, to our knowledge, it's the first hybrid powertrain out there mated to a manual transmission. More of which later. These powertrains complement a 21 version model lineup, based on 4 trim levels: Expression Plus, Dynamique Nav, Dynamique S-Nav and Signature Nav. Standard specification levels seem generous, and all versions are loaded to the gunnels with sufficient safety technology to garner a 5-star Euro NCAP rating. Pricing for the UK market remains unconfirmed at the time of writing, though we can expect the range to start from £19,000 rising in £1,500 increments through the trim levels. We sampled a manual transmission version of the more powerful, 128 bhp turbo petrol unit, the beefiest, 158 bhp turbodiesel mated to an automatic gearbox, and the hybrid assist engine. Everything we drove was presented in kitchen sink signature nav trim level, and price guesstimates suggest under £25,000 for the petrol version, and about £30,000 for the diesel. The petrol unit is smooth, refined and willing, but struggles in a car of this size. The hybrid's electric motor provides useful low-speed torque for urban work, but, of the three, the diesel alone provides sufficient oomph to get the Scenic moving with any real eagerness. Lots to like about Renault's new MPV. With precise, accurate steering that doesn't offer overmuch communication, the Scenic is at its best loafing through rather than leaping at corners. Moreover, the undercarriage struggles to remain supple at low speeds, crashing over obstacles of the kind that blight British roads. Fortunately, it does settle down as speeds rise, making the Scenic happiest ambling in a cruise, the quietness of which is rudely interrupted by a deal of wind noise from the door mirrors at higher velocities. In all, there is much to admire here. The new Scenic's a striking yet practical effort which, though slightly adrift of the modularity and flexibility of its predecessor, melds the characteristics of MPV, SUV and crossover sufficiently adroitly that a segment nomenclature reassessment may be in order. To find out more about this all-new people carrier, read on for a comprehensive Renault Scenic review. 3 diesels, 2 petrols, 1 hybrid manual diesel at launch. A choice of 6 engines are available along with either a 6-speed manual gearbox, which we found acceptable yet with a predictable degree of Renault notchiness, or a twin-clutch automatic. Petrol power, it's 131.2 liter, 130 horsepower, 205 Nm turbo petrol, 6-speed manual. 062 miles per hour in 11.4 seconds. Max speed 118 miles per hour, 48.7 miles per gallon, 129 GkM CO2's 115 1.0 liter, 115 horsepower, 190 Nm, turbo petrol, 6-speed manual. 062 miles per hour in 12.3 seconds. Max speed 115 miles per hour, 48.7 miles per gallon, 129 GkM CO2. The 1.2-liter turbo petrol engine is a reasonably refined unit that doesn't struggle as much as expected to heft this size of car around. It is eager to rev, but even so, performance figures are never going to reshape your face, and it's happiest ambling in a cruise. We've yet to drive the 1.0-liter at time of riding. Diesel engines, DC 110 1.5 liter, 110 horsepower, 260 Nm turbo diesel, 6-speed manual or dual clutch auto. 062 miles per hour in 11.4 seconds. Max speed 118 miles per hour, 72.4 miles per gallon, 100 GkM CO2. DC 131.6 liter, 130 bhp, 320 Nm turbo diesel, 6-speed manual. 062 miles per hour in 11.4 seconds. Max speed 118 miles per hour, 62.7 miles per gallon, 116 GkM CO2. DC 161.6 liter, 160 horsepower, 380 Nm turbo diesel, dual clutch auto. 062 miles per hour in 11.4 seconds. Max speed 118 miles per hour, 62.7 miles per gallon, 118 GkM CO2. While we haven't driven the 2-hour-powered diesels, the 160 horsepower mated to a smooth, twin-clutch automatic transmission feels a better fit for 3 reasons. Firstly, it boasts better low-down torque for greater urgency in every driving scenario. Secondly, the Scenic's family outing character lends itself ideally to an automatic gearbox. And, thirdly, the diesel doesn't have to try so hard to maintain a high-speed cruise, and is therefore quieter. Unusual diesel hybrid manual model DC 110 Hybrid Assist 1.5 liter, 110 horsepower, 260 Nm Hybrid Assist turbo diesel with 10 kW electric motor, 6-speed manual. 062 miles per hour in 11.4 seconds. Max speed 118 miles per hour, 80.7 miles per gallon, 92 GkM CO2. The Hybrid Assist engine is an affordable way for Renault to enter the hybrid arena. Rather than building the electric motor into the gearbox, it takes the place of the alternator alongside the engine, and takes power from an 11 kg lithium-ion battery pack under the load space deck astern. tax significant 810% reduction in fuel consumption and CO2 emissions aside, Renault quotes identical performance figures for this unit and the standard 110 horsepower turbodiesel, suggesting the extra 44 kilograms weight of hybrid componentry balances out any performance advantage. A brief drive does however suggest it adds sprightliness in the urban environment, thanks to an electric motor's ability to generate maximum torque from 0 revs. Unashamedly large car at its best driven slowly at maneuvering speeds, we struggled to locate the front corners of the new Renault Scenic. The angle of the windscreen pillar pushes the glazing so far forwards that the dash top could readily host a respectable model railway layout. Multi-story car parkwork left us wincing in fear of alloy wheel damage at every sharp curb and turn. On the open road, the steering is precise and accurate enough without offering over much communication. Wider front and rear tracks than those of the previous model help shackle body roll to a degree, but in order to keep the rubber cladding those handsome 20-inch alloys affordable and not too detrimental to fuel consumption, the tires are narrower than their diameter would suggest, with inevitable implications for grip levels. If hustled along in a manner likely to rapidly leave the cabin flecked in toddler puke, the Scenic acquits itself perfectly well, with no unpleasant surprises lurking at the extremes of grip. It is, however, at its best loafing through rather than leaping at corners. Stylish screen-centric cabin media system complex yet capable. The clean, elegant dashboard houses a new console featuring a big S10 8.7-inch touchscreen for control of Renault's Link 2 infotainment system. Though it shoulders aside the central air vents in somewhat cavalier fashion, the portrait orientation of the screen is a good thing, allowing you to see more of the road ahead on the map, and less of places drifting invisibly by to left and right. The system looks good and works adequately, though the vast wealth of menus available can be a little baffling to navigate and occasionally tardy in response. If all else fails, read the instructions. What isn't yet available, and won't be until a few months after the November 2016 launch, is either Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Renault is still working on these systems for universal installation throughout its fleet, and had no intention of delaying the Scenic's arrival in the interests of providing same to the initial rush of buyers. Nor will a retrofit be offered. On reflection, given the number of rival manufacturers who bang on at length about the importance of such connectivity in every new offering, it's refreshing to come across one that recognizes the minuscule numbers of mobility obsessed youth who can actually afford a £25,000 car. There are no analog dials here, and no dash-top central speedometer either. Renault design boss Laurens van den Acker doesn't warm to such devices, so we find a TFT Fox analog driver's instrument binnacle in the usual location, which looks, and functions, well enough. This top-of-the-range signature nav specimen also benefits from a segment-first color head-up display, the white content of which all but vanishes if you don polarizing sunglasses. The Scenic's front seats are comfortable, but an otherwise fine driving position benefits from raising the seat as high as possible in order to locate the extremities of the car. Aside from fairly intrusive wind noise from the door mirrors, the biggest distraction to occupants is the occasionally questionable ride quality. Despite a tire wall height boosted to 107 mm with comfort specifically in mind, the undercarriage struggles to remain supple at low speeds, crashing over obstacles of the kind that blight British roads. Happily it does settle down as speeds rise, making the Scenic respectably comfortable in the cruise, but somewhat jittery in the urban environment. For trim's selection of extras, the Scenic lineup for the UK includes a quartet of equipment levels and a number of optional extras, both available separately and as part of a number of packs. Standard Renault Scenic equipment. The UK entry-level Scenic trim level, Expression Plus, starts the standard equipment ball rolling with a comprehensive selection, including DAB radio with Bluetooth connectivity, automatic dual-zone air conditioning, automatic wipers and headlamps, the latter with auto high-low beam, heated, folding door mirrors, a leather steering wheel, a 7-inch touchscreen, ISOFIX child seat mounts, cruise control and hill start assist to help you pull away from a standstill while on an incline. Dynamic Nav builds on this with front and rear parking sensors, a sliding center console with twin USB ports, front seatback tables, on a touch folding rear seats, the multi-sense system providing selective driving modes and ambient lighting, a beefier sound system, and the Relink multimedia system including satellite navigation. Dynamic S-Nav adds a segment unique, color head-up display, a rear parking camera, a panoramic sunroof with electric sunblind, an electrochromatic rear view mirror, tinted rear glazing, an 11-speaker Bose stereo and the first-in-class 8.7-inch portrait touchscreen Relink 2 multimedia system. The top-of-the-range signature nav further features front fog lamps with a cornering function, full LED headlamps with a semi-home function, electric front seats with memory, black leather upholstery and a Nappa leather cloud helm. Optional Renault Scenic accessories dependent on trim level. Options include the rear parking camera, full LED headlamps, the 8.7-inch touchscreen, the Nappa leather steering wheel and, of course, metallic paint. A healthy range of options bundled into packs includes the following: Look Pack Premium, an option on Dynamic Nav only, providing a panoramic sunroof with electric blind, electrochromatic rear view mirror and tinted rear glazing. The Bose Pack adds a Bose sound system with 7 speakers, amplifier and subwoofer to certain variants of Dynamic S-Nav models, and above the leather premium pack provides Dynamic S-Nav with full leather upholstery, electric heated front seats with memory and courtesy functions, and front passenger seat with ISOFIX and underseat storage. The parking premium pack available on Dynamic S-Nav and Signature Nav includes hands-free parking, 360-degree parking sensors and blind spot warning. The safety pack for Dynamic Nav and above delivers lane keep assist and safe distance warning. The safety pack premium, also for Dynamic Nav and above, adds adaptive cruise control to the standard safety pack. Huge array of standard kit more available for extra cash as reflected by its recently garnered 5-star Euro NCAP crash test rating. The Scenic lacks for nothing in the fields of safety and driver assistance, boasting more acronyms than you can shake a stick at. On all Renault Scenics grouped under the title Advanced Driver Assistance Systems ADAS, they include Adaptive Cruise Control ACC, the Active Emergency Braking System EBS, which operates at speeds of between 5 and 100 miles per hour, Lane Departure Warning LDW, a tactile, helm vibrating alert rather than audible, Safe Distance Warning SDW, Traffic Sign Recognition with Overspeed Prevention TSR with OSP, Blind Spot Warning BSW, a reversing camera, auto-dipping headlamps, front, rear and side parking sensors, and Easy Park Assist hands-free parking. In addition to this already comprehensive range of safety features, the new Scenic further adds 3 new functions, unique to the segment. The Active Emergency Braking System EBS incorporates pedestrian detection. Operating between speeds of 4 and 37 miles per hour, the system alerts the driver to the risk of a collision between car and pedestrian, automatically bringing the car to a full stop should warnings fail to trigger a response from the driver. Lane Keeping Assist, which is active between 44 and 100 miles per hour, automatically assumes control of the steering should the driver inadvertently drift across a lane. Fatigue Alert, which uses a Bose-developed algorithm to monitor the vehicle's path, issuing both visual and audible warnings should driver fatigue be suspected. The rear seating is not as MP flexible as that found in the outgoing model. No longer fully removable, the sliding seats are now split just 60 hours 40 minutes instead of into 3. Making it harder to accommodate the shoulders of 3 adults without simultaneous reminiscing on life in the front row of a rugby scrum. Offering merely adequate legroom which falls slightly below the class leaders, the seats feel somewhat upright and compact for a long all-adult occupancy. They may be lowered at the touch of a boot wall-mounted button, or via one of the multimedia system's endless menus, to give a flat floor. Load space is bigger than before and, at 572 liters, claimed to be class-leading. There's bags of storage everywhere, including the floor bins from Scenics of yore, a sliding center console which can either mate with the base of the dashboard console, or slide aft to separate wearing off spring, and a glove box that opens like a sprung filing cabinet drawer. Small tables fold from front seat backs, and are attended by a mysterious elastic sling like a catapult, which children will ping relentlessly against the seat back until the parent in front is entirely furious.